Hello, I'm joined today by Maxine King of Fresh Mindset Limited, and this is a slightly different conversation around relationships because today we're going to be talking about your relationship with money. Now, I know in the work that I do that money is one of the biggest issues that couples deal with. So I was really intrigued when Maxine said to me, I can come and talk about our relationship with money and how it impacts upon our intimate relationships. So I'm absolutely thrilled and delighted to introduce Maxine King. Maxine, welcome so much to this interview. Please tell me a little bit about what it is you do, because it's not a traditional thing that you do, is it?
No, no, it's not. I'm all about the inner game, working out what's going on inside, mastering our energy. And we are all energy. We're all pulsating little atoms, pulsating energy. We are just this pulsation of energy, as is money, as is everything in our world. Everything is to do with energy, and this is all about harnessing the energy. Now, it doesn't matter. You can look at it from how your relationship is with money. You can look at it from how your relationship is with your partner. You can look at it. These are everything that we're doing in our life is just mirroring back to us what is going on in our own reality, in our own world. And when we start looking at how these things are impacting us, then we can start making the changes and shift that energy to become more in alignment with what we want to achieve. So instead of sort of like a codependency where we start focusing on our own will, on what we want to happen, and we get fixated on that, we put out this intention that in order for me to feel good about myself, I need that person or my money to behave in a certain way for me to feel good. And in fact, what you're doing is you're projecting your power over there, and you're giving your power away. You're giving your power away. So it isn't about when we're projecting our will over there. When we can surrender and allow, and so this is all about lack, actually. When we feel the need to control something, there is a belief inside of us that there is lack, because if there was an abundance of it, we wouldn't need to look to money for love, or we wouldn't need to look for our relationship for love, because we are already full of love, and we are now in abundance and overflowing with love, and therefore we can start giving that love unconditionally. Now that can be
Absolutely perfect. Yes. And it's interesting because when I'm working with couples, I talk to them about sensing the energy of their partner, how as they walk in through the door of an evening, whether they've had a good day or a bad day. They sense whether you've had a good day or a bad day. So it's all about that energy sort of shift and that energy connection. And you talk about tuning into that energy for unconditional love is absolutely fantastic. And that's obviously what I aim for when I'm working with couples, when I'm working with individuals. So expand on that a bit for me, if you can, Maxine.
I love that word, expand on that, because that's what this is all about, expanding our love, which is innate inside of us. We are already love, but we've shut ourselves off from it. Okay, so, and we've shut ourselves off from love, and therefore it can't come through us. We are just the energy, the vibrational frequency of love when we allow ourselves to surrender and allow the energy to come through us. So this is a completely new way of thinking. We've been brought up in a society to believe that we have to do, it's right, I'm getting quite excited about this, that we have to do certain things in order to have certain things. This is a real shift in perception of we don't need to do anything. Actually, it's already there. all we really need to do, oh, right, I want to share this with you because this is beautiful. On a piano, on a well-tuned piano, if you hit the mid chord C, I believe it is, I'm not
Middle
musical.
C, yes,
Middle C,
middle
thank
C.
you, thank you. On a well-tuned piano, all the other middle Cs will vibrate to the same frequency as that middle C. They will be in harmony. When you push that chord, the middle C chord, on an untuned piano, it creates dissonance, which is lack of harmony. So if you see yourself as a vessel where you want to tune your frequency in to that middle C, which is love. Let's just, that middle C, which is love. And you spend your time getting yourself to that place of middle C so that it's overflowing. You will create the harmony. Now, when you create that harmony, you'll be vibrating from that frequency and you'll be attracting that frequency back into your life. And not only will you be attracting that frequency in your life, the more people that can get to that middle C on a fine tune, the more people that can fine tune their piano, their being, we will generate a frequency of love, which will help others get to that same level.
Beautiful. Do you know the image that came to mind then when you were explaining that? And I think it was something to do with all the hand gestures that I can see as well that you're making.
Right.
You know that iconic image of Julie Andrews in The Sound of Music at the top of the hill singing The Hills Are Alive with the Sound of Music, and she's twirling around and you've got the beautiful Alps in the background, and that image is so free and she looks and sounds and feels so alive. That was the image that came to mind then. So that for me is absolutely fascinating. I'm hoping that gives a description to our listeners as well as to sort of some of the hand gestures you were making, because they were so expansive. And you started that when I said, can you expand on that? But I'm interested to know, how does all this connect to our relationship with money? Because so many of us are brought up being told, well, if you love money, that makes you a miser, it makes you a Scrooge, it makes you greedy. Money's the root of all evil. That's what so many of us are brought up thinking. So why should we feel love and unconditional love for money?
Because money is just energy. It's just energy. That's all it is. So we need to lose this idea that money, we've got this idea that money brings us stuff. Actually, no. What happens is when you open yourself up to this abundant love, this frequency, actually what you said about Julie Andrews on top of the hill, opening over, what you did was this, which is sort of like opening the heart and allowing the expanse of the love to come out. When we come from a place of love, what happens, and we get the energy flowing through us, what tends to happen is we start receiving the information from the energetic field around us. This is energy which goes through us, it's all around us, it's tapping into that energy. And with that energy, it's an intelligent force which gives us the information, if you like, the download of what we need to do to be the creative. Okay, so here I've got the intuition. Okay, we talked on a different podcast about intuition and motivation, and I said intuition is an internal force. Yes, it is. It is our divine gift that we've come to planet Earth with, and it is our purpose to be here to find what that gift is and to go out and share it with others. And by doing that, do you know what? You find the joy, you find the love. You do it from a place of love rather than going out and going to work and doing something that you don't really like doing, which is so commonplace. We've been conditioned that you do this to bring in an income to survive. To survive. We're here to thrive. We're here. We can create whatever we want when we listen to our intuition, and that intuition isn't coming from you. You haven't created that. That's coming from the intelligent energy force that's coming through us. And when we deny that, when we say no to it, or I can't do this because I'm too old, or I can't do this because I don't have enough time, or I don't have, we are being of disservice to ourselves. And that's when things start feeling miserable, heavy, hard work, because we are turning our backs on ourselves. We're not honoring who we are. And it's not about going away and starting giving yourself a hard time over it, that, yeah, oh my God, I should be doing this. And, no, this is all about being kind to yourself and allowing the love to be there, switching the love button on and allowing the energy flow to start coming through. And when, as I say, when we're filled with abundance of love and it's overflowing, we no longer need to look to somebody else to fill that void of love within us.
Mm-hmm. I love that. You say switching the love button on. And I'm thinking about, listening to what you're saying, thinking about how you apply that to our relationship with money. And I come out and you can tell me if I'm wrong here. I'm thinking, so if we feel bad about spending our money, if our intuition is saying to us, you really shouldn't be spending that, but we're doing it because for whatever reason we feel, well, I've got to spend this money because it's going to make me feel better. But then we regret it. We've all heard of buyer's remorse. And then we feel 10 times worse because we now haven't got that money that we wanted, that we didn't feel we should spend anyway, but somehow or other felt that we needed to spend it. If, however, we listen to our... Yeah.
Yes, the energy there, the frequency you're giving out there is need. I need in this. So this is all. We now have to talk in a different way. Okay, we need to talk about in energy and frequency and vibrations. Okay, our emotions, our thoughts are so important, because with each one of those, they carry a vibrational frequency. So if you're coming from that place of need, it's scarcity and lack. That's a lower vibration.
Mm-hmm.
You are putting out, you are emitting that vibration. When you spend that money from a place of lack, that is what's going to come back to you.
Okay, so if we therefore spend our money on good things that make us feel good, and for me, I love to cook for my family and friends, so I love to spend money on good ingredients, fresh produce, quality spices and herbs, all that sort of thing. And I feel so good when I've done that. And of course, because I'm cooking, and it can be for my family, it can be for my friends, the love is coming back to me tenfold because I've spent that money on things I love. But equally, we were talking before we started this podcast about holidays. You spending the money on things you love makes you feel so much happier about it. You don't regret the expenditure. You look forward to what that expenditure is going to bring into your life. Be it a momentary thing, be it something to look forward to in the future. So, and even just explaining it, I can sense the difference in energy. So that suggests to me, and forgive me if I'm putting words into your mouth here, but it suggests to me then if we're having conversations with our partner about money, and we start saying, you shouldn't have spent that money, what did you get that for, we can't afford to do that, then you're actually on a lower vibration, so you're taking the love away from it. Whereas if you have the conversation in a more positive light to say, well, maybe we shouldn't have spent that, but actually I'm glad that you did because it's enabled us to do X, Y, or Z, or get X, Y, and Z. It's a much more positive conversation to start with. The energy between both of you is higher, and therefore that creates a far better flow of love. Have I got that right?
You absolutely have. But what I just want to add here, okay, you absolutely have. But that's not going to make everything in the financial world okay. But what it does do, it's the first step to allow the creativity to come in for those difficult conversations, which we know most couples can't have because it creates a friction. So coming from that space, you can then start talking about the differences of the needs of each person. And I'm not talking about need, that lack need. I'm talking about an abundant need, a nourishing need. We all need to nourish ourselves to get to the thriving place. If you stay in a miserly, I can't afford that, or why did you spend that, you can hear the difference in the vibration of what I'm saying. So you start off by finding the love in it, and it's not easy because we're so tuned in. And it's not an individual's fault, it's society. This has been going on for generations. We're changing generations of being, the way of conditioning, actually. We've been conditioned to believe that money's hard to come by, that you have to work hard for your money. There are all these well, look at me, it's contracting, stifling, limiting things that we're carrying with us that we need. Right, there we go. Look, we need to let go of. Just let go, surrender. They're not real. They really are not real. But our thoughts bring them into our reality. So shift that thinking. Get yourself in tuned, aligned to thinking in a different way. Start thinking in vibration, frequency, emotions and thoughts. And even just with the intention, just having the intention will start taking you in the right direction. Do you want me to go on a little bit more? This is coming through me, so can I just keep going?
Absolutely, it's fascinating.
Okay, so we have our brain. It's a triune brain, 3. I think I've spoken about this. I speak about this quite a lot. So we've got our brain stem, then we've got our mammalian brain, then we've got our neocortex, our thinking brain. So the mammalian brain is the thinking brain. Right, why have I gone down this route? Let me just get back. Got it. So and on our brain stem, which is the oldest part of our brain, and it keeps everything functioning, we've got this little thing at the top called the pineal gland. It's called the pineal gland. Now, in Egyptian times, our pineal gland was the size of a grape. So when we think about how amazing the thought was in Egyptian times, and way back then, how did we move stones? Primitive men moved stones from, who know, those big stones. Amazing things have been achieved that we can't even understand how it was done. And so their brain was actually more developed than ours. Ours now has, because of the way we've been living, the food we've been eating, the lack of breath we're intaking, the pineal gland is actually revolved. Instead of evolving, it's shrunk. It's now the size of a raisin. Not only that, we've also got calcification, which is formed around our pineal gland. Now, our pineal gland is like our antenna. It's like an antenna that receives information through the energetic field, the intelligent field, the divine matrix, the source energy that comes through us. So that's, when I say opening up, we have to open ourselves up to this. That's getting the pineal gland to start awakening and start lighting up and start coming alive again, so that it can go, source energy is already out there. It just needs us to be saying, right, I'm open and receptive. I'm ready to receive. Okay, I'm saying this, it needs a bit of work. It doesn't, you don't just sit there as open to receive. Oh, there we go. we've got to do a lot of work to get ourselves to that point where we are able to get the information to come through us. And I mean, it's just a completely different way of being. So we're waking up our antennae, and then we say, here we are, and then the universe goes, oh, thank goodness, because it's just been waiting there for us to wake up and allow this energy to come through us. So it's worth doing the work, because I'll tell you what, the feeling is just incredible. It's just a different way of being.
It sounds phenomenal. And of course, that's what you help people to do, isn't it? To change their mindset, change what's going on internally so that they can accept all of this. And the energy change in people when you've worked with them is phenomenal. So Maxine, where can people get in touch with you?
People can get in contact with me via my website, which is www.freshmindset.co.uk. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. You can look me up as Maxine King or Fresh Mindset. I've got both of those. I'm also on Instagram, but I'm not very active on Instagram and Twitter, but I am hoping to become so. But really, LinkedIn, Facebook, or pop onto my website and have a look. Yeah,
that's amazing. Thank you, Maxine. And it's been really fascinating talking to you today about the link between our energy and money and our relationships. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today about this, and look forward to all of the insights that our listeners and our viewers will get from this when they hear you speaking. Thank you so much, Maxine.
Thank you. Thank you.